Hi guys, welcome to another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about an awesome technology called Deno. It is, we can say, a replacement of Node.js in upcoming years. It is a secure runtime JavaScript and TypeScript. So where does it come from? It's actually developed by the same developer who built Node.js 10 years ago. And the developer who has built Deno thinks that Node.js is having a lot of problems inside it, mainly in terms of security and managing the code. So he came up with an idea to create a new technology called Deno, new runtime for JavaScript and TypeScript. And he thinks that rather than actually changing the architecture of Node, he created this new one. And we can say that in upcoming years, once the community grows up, many people start using this new technology, they are going to be replacing Node.js in their projects, right? So let's move forward. In this video series, I will be moving forward writing code and how it solves a lot of problems and how it solves a lot of security problems in our code that we have been facing using Node. So Deno is actually a secure runtime for JavaScript and the cool TypeScript that uses V8, and it is built on Rust. And it solves a lot of problems. It gives us better approach at solving same problem that we used to solve using Node. It gives us a lot better approaches. It's an event-driven asynchronous behavior. So let's talk about why Deno was created. We are talking about Node.js here. Node.js was insecure in terms of accessing your local files. So in Node, we have been using npm Node Package Manager that we use to install a lot of third-party packages or modules. And we are not sure, there might be a lot of packages or modules that might be accessing over files in computer. So without actually letting us know that this module is actually accessing our local files, there are a lot of security and permission issues in Node, right? So another issue of insecurity in Node was when we try to pass a request to another server through network, it started accessing the host computer network services. So that's not good in terms of security. And the cool things of Deno, we don't need any kind of package manager that we have been using in Node. No need to have an npm. And in Deno code, we don't need to have a package.json kind of file that contains a lot of dev dependencies, a lot of informations that we use with Node. We don't have any package.json file. And just like we don't have npm or package.json file, we don't have Node modules folder in it. So it's these are the coolest things that I've found, that we just need to create JavaScript files and we don't need to have a lot of package managers and a lot of Node modules folders. It require other local modules without writing their extensions, right? We need to write their extensions, whether it's a JavaScript, whether it's what kind of module is that. We just need to give its name and it's also going to be started working. I'm shortly going to be talking about how we can install Deno in our local system and how we can write code using Deno. So installation process is, in Mac you can use brew and you can install brew install Deno. And in Windows, you can write this command in PowerShell that will give you access to install Deno in your computer. I'm just going to show you the main page of Deno, where you can see different installation command for all the operating systems, for Linux, for other operating systems as well. Right? So for starting using Deno actually uses TypeScript. TypeScript actually gives us a lot of flexibility in terms of object-oriented programming. So that's a different topic. I have another video in our YouTube channel that I'm gonna be giving the link of it in the description below. And if you don't know what is TypeScript and how to write code in TypeScript, I would recommend you to go over that video. That will give you a better idea that how to write code in Deno. So I have written down some points. These are mainly basic concepts that you need to know at least. So the data types, tuples, enums, any type, union types, interfaces, classes, optional param, read-only param, and access modifiers. These are the only topics that I would request you guys to go through it on its documentation, and rest week you can start writing code in Deno. So let's move forward, and I'm gonna be opening up the Deno documentation first. So here in Deno documentation, you can see that it has some description. It's secure by default, right? No drawbacks while accessing the network, or it's accessing the environment files. And these are the installation descriptions. On Mac, you can run this command. On Windows, you can run this command. And it's pretty straightforward, right? So this is how we can run different files of Deno. We need to install Deno. So what we need to do is, I'm using Windows. I have already added this command, right? And this is the PowerShell. And if I need to find out the version of Deno, I can simply write Deno -- version, and it's going to give me the version of Deno, which is the stable version. And it's running on V8, so it's giving me the version of V8 over here. And also it's using the TypeScript on it, and it's using this version of TypeScript along with it. So when you install Deno, these updated versions of TypeScript V8 and the updated version of Deno automatically gets installed in your system. Right, so I have opened up VS Code and I have created a new file, first.ts, and ts stands for TypeScript. We need to create TypeScript file always in order to use Deno, right? So since you know that I have already installed Deno in my system, and we have a Deno variable available in our computer, right? So deno.version.deno, and this is how we can print out the version of it, right? So if I just print this out, let me just clear it up. And Deno first can't resolve module file, Deno first. All right, so this is not JS, this is TS. Right, so it is checking the file first.ts, and it has printed 1.6.3. right? So this is the version of Deno. Let's move forward and write some more code. So let's say const add and a number, right? And I can return a with the addition of 2, and let's call it up dot log add, and let's pass 2, right? You can see that I have used this data type for this a. It means that I'm using TypeScript, right? This is just to let you guys know that everything works over here just like it was working in Node. So I'm gonna be running this file again, and you can see it has printed 4. This is the version, so this is how it can work. So this is pretty straightforward. Now let's move forward and let's try to import some kind of module. Like in Node, when we try to import some kind of module, we used to install it using npm, and it was being added in package.json file and install in node modules folder. How can we use a particular module inside it, right? So if I go over here, Deno land and standard libraries, you can click on standard library from here and it will reach over here. These are the standard libraries that we can use. So let's say that this is UUID, and we can use it from the Deno land, and we can actually, this is mod.ts, right? If I click on it, and it will provide me the UUID as an export method, v1, v4, v5. Let me copy this URL, right? And over here, let's just comment above. And if I want to use this particular package, what I can do is I can simply write import v4 from and paste this URL, right? And now if I want to use it, let's say my UUID equals to v4 dot generate and console logged my UUID, right? So let's run this file again, and it's checking this file, and now it is actually printed out this UUID. So you can see that how simple is that. We didn't create any package.json file or the node modules folder. It's just took some time and it just printed out. So now you might be confusing that if I run it again, now you can see when the file got changed, then it got this file checked. And after I ran it again without making any change to this file, it didn't check the file because it knew the file is in the previous state, and it just straight away printed out the ID, right? And if I go to over here, and there are some third-party modules as well, right? We have third-party modules, a lot of third-party modules. Lodash is very famous, and we can use it, all these packages, right? So let's try using Lodash over here. Let's import Lodash, and for using any third-party module, we can use any module provider. It can be GitHub, it can be GitLab, or anything else, right? Any service provider give you any JavaScript file, jQuery. For third-party libraries, for calendar modules, you can use the third-party. So for Lodash, I can use a pika.dev website that provides me this Lodash library, right? So now if I just try to log Lodash, and let's say it has a function index of 1, 2, 3, and 2, right? Now I have changed this file. Now let's run it again, and now it is checking the file again because it is changed. So this is how it's printing out, right? This is a UUID and this is 1, right? So if I go to the documentation, so here let me just copy this code. Actually node is being used for creating servers, so this is how it is loading the server.ts file. It is a standard library. This shows std, a standard library. So if I close it up, and it is serving using this module on the port 800 8000, and now it will print hello world, right? So let me save this file, let me clear it, and let's run this file again. Deno run first.ts, right? So uncaught permission, yeah. So it's about network, right? This is where the Deno provide the network security, right? Node was insecure. Node wasn't able to actually let us user to know that that it needs to access your network files, right? So I need to pass this flag in order to allow users to actually use network access, right? So if I over here Deno run, and I need to pass this flag allow net, right? So now you can see it's running localhost 8000, right? If on the browser, let me run it, localhost 8000, and it should print the hello world. Awesome. So how simple is that? No other file, no packages, no node modules, just straight away import it, use it, create a server, and it will start working. I'm going to be talking about very important topic given by Deno, that's called permissions and security. So this is something that Node.js never tried to tackle. So instead we let operating system or browsers or the OS of mobiles or desktops to actually manage permissions and security. You might be familiar that when you try to install some kind of application or change some kind of settings in the app, it give you a prompt whether you you will let this app to access your location or access your photos or access your contacts, then it gives you prompt. So but Deno is actually forcing users to specify the privileges that they want their scripts to have, right? So there are different flags that we can pass while running the scripts, and also directly in the code we can add those flags and add conditions. If that particular permission, this script should ask users before running it, right? And we can also specify different flags if we don't want users to answer it, but we can directly specify it in the script, right? So let's say one of the flag you already know, these are the flags that we start off with allow dash, and we have around 7 or 8 flags that we can specify here. So the first flag is allow all. This is actually used to allow all permissions. So I won't recommend this flag to use while running your script or in your code because it's not actually specific to a particular functionality in your app. It will allow all your environment, network access, your file handling access, and all these kinds of access. So specific to your functionality, you should allow specific flags, right? So let's say we have another flag called allow env. Let me comment this up, right? And to actually test this out, let's see that we have the Deno variable accessible and get, and if I run home, so this actually let me access my home directory. So if I try to run this script, let me clear this up. You will see that it will ask me to provide permissions access to the environment variable, run again with the allow env flag. So if I embed this flag allow env, then it's not going to give me this uncaught permission denied exception because I have given this environment. So whenever you want your script to have this kind of permission, you can pass this flag while running your script, and it would only allow it to access your environment folders when you will add this flag, right? So this is one of the flag you might want to use in your script. So next flags are pretty much very interesting, and let's move forward and see how we can add further permissions, right? So in the next, let's say that we want to access the file of our system. We want to use file handling, right? So if I open up the Deno, and here we can see that this is the documentation, and this is the all documentation of Deno. So if we move down, and we can read the file like this, right? This is the decoder, and this is something like Deno read file, right? So first of all, let's see that I want to check the time, and this is for debugging, that how much time the script actually took to run, right? So this allow will actually let us find out in detailed form that how much milliseconds this line took to read the file, right? So I'm going to start off with start time, and I'm given with the performance dot now, right? And I can use the promise of Deno, and this is the read file. And you can see that I have already created this file.txt. This is hi, this is me, and I'm a programmer, right? So in order to read this file, I'll give the path of it, right? So it's going to read the file, and then I'm going to add end time equals to performance.now, right? So let's log it up. And for logging it, let's say we want to start off with start time and end time, right? So let's try to run it and see how does it show us different exceptions. right? So it's giving me an exception, can't find the name delay node. And let me see. Oh, it's what it happened. It's here. It's Deno, right? Deno.read file. So if I try to run this file now, it's giving me permission denied, and it's asking me to add allow read flag. And this is a different kind of permission. If we want to read the flag, then we need to pass this flag. So we can add more than one flag. So let me try to add this flag first. So allow read, right? So you can see 32 and 40. So it started off with 32 and 40. Now we need to actually, we can subtract it, right? So in order to subtract it, we can add end time minus start time, right? So let's end this up, and I'm going to run it again. And now you can see it has given me 4. So that's not really too much informative whether it's a 4 second. It's actually millisecond by default, right? So it's 4 milliseconds. If we want to get further details like in decimals, how we can do it, we have another flag here, allow read, and I can pass allow, and here hr time, right? If I try to run this script, what happened? Let me try add again, allow hr time, and now you can see it has given me more detailed form of time it took, which is in milliseconds. So when we try to run a lot of files, that this decimal points really help us in order to debug the code. So in this part we learned about the flag, about a read, allow read, and allow hr time, right? So let me comment this up, and let's move forward with other some kind of flags that we have. So let's say I want to access a third party module. I want to go to the network, right? And I want to access some kind of package. So let's say in my first video, we try to access this server.ts module, right? And I already showed you that it asks us to add a flag. And what was that flag? Let's add it. And it's going to give us permission. So it's asking us allow net flag should be added. So you already know, guys, I'm just repeating that again because this is the topic. So this is the allow access. It's asking me allow it if you want to access it. So it's really cool. Allow access, right? So I have given it to access this network. Yeah, I actually trust this network, and this module is trustworthy. So move forward and let it go to download it, and let's use it to run the server, right? So this is actually allow net is kind of cool. So just like we have the read file, we have allow write flag as well, right? So let me comment some kind of code in it, right? So this is the encoder, text encoder. So this is the code actually. If we go over here, write file, right? So this is where I took this code from, Deno write file, hello txt and data, right? So this is the file I'll be using to write it down. And if I try to run this script now, it's gonna ask me that allow write flag should be added over here. So let me add this one, allow write. If I go to the file.txt, you can see that its content has been changed to hello world. Earlier it was different, right, guys? So this is allow write flag. There is another flag that I would like to mention here, and it's called, let me comment this up. It's called, if you want to use the third party plugin that requires some internet access, you can use the allow plugin flag. That's really helpful if you are using the plugin, for example, calendar plugin or the image slider plugin, and there are a lot of plugins out there. You can use this plugin as well. So now let's move forward and try to add permissions directly in the script rather than in the running command, right? We don't need to add all those flags while running the commands, but we can add those permissions in the script. So let's say whoever run the script without actually adding the flag, I want to prompt the user whether you want to grant the permission or not. Grant the read permission, write permission, network access permissions, and all these things. So what we can have here is, if let's start writing reading status equals to await Deno dot permissions dot request will prompt the user, right? So name read, right? So here let me just try and add a condition reading status dot state, and I can check if it is granted or not using this keyword, right? And here I can just log granted, else console dot not granted, right? And inside it, let's try to access the file. Okay, so let's add let data, and inside it, so we can test if we have actually granted the permission or not. So data equals to await Deno dot read file, and we have the file.txt, right? So let me just copy paste the exact word Deno, right? So let's clear this out, and now let's run Deno run unstable. So unstable is a flag that is used to add when we use permissions, Deno.permissions. Hopefully later it will be removed, but currently I think it's unstable version, so that's why they let us use this flag while executing the permissions for Deno. So now you can see it has prompted me Deno request read access because I have added a read over here, right? So whether I want to grant it read access or not, G for yes and D for deny. So if I write G, it is printed granted, right? Let me run this script again, and if I write D, it has printed not granted, right? So this is how I can prompt user whether we want to grant the permission or not, right? So now we have another thing, that is revoke, right? Revoke means that we don't want this access to user, right? So let's try to run it again now, and now you can see it's not granted. And even if I add the flag of read over here, even though still it's not granted because it has lower precedence. Whatever we write in the code, it has higher precedence, right? So this flag even didn't let us read the file. Instead, it went over here because we have revoked this permission, right? So this is how we can add these permissions in the code, and this is something that Node.js wasn't actually facilitating us with. So Deno, actually the developer of Deno, Ryan, actually came up with the idea, and this is one of the reasons that he built the Deno rather than actually changing the architecture of Node. We are going to be talking about the npm Node modules. We have been using npm in Node, and it used to create the package.json file, and it used to create node modules folder. It's a bit of controversial topic while we use Deno, because in Deno we don't need to use a lot of third-party packages while using npm command or any package manager. It works in a way, as you all have already seen, that we can add different modules just like this. This is how the Ryan, the developer of Deno, wanted modules to be imported in a way that browser reads the files. Browser reads all the modules, jQuery files, CSS files in terms of scripts. If you write the script tag, and you can add the reference to all the modules which you want to use. So we'll start off with adding few of the modules that we can add. So let's explore a few of this library. So in the Deno, we have this standard library that is also available in Node. So it is a built-in thing, and all these things can be accessed through Deno keyword dot and then the function name, right? And this is pretty much enough documentation which you can go through, and you can use whatever you want, right? And there are some standard libraries and also third-party modules. This is the standard library. So here you can see the fs is used to access the file systems, hashing, http is used to create server, input, output, log, mem, node. So let's start off with some kind of importing. So how you want to import, let's say Lodash. This is the mostly used library currently in Deno, right? So if I open up Chrome and third-party modules, this is Lodash, right? And how you're gonna use Lodash. So this is the Lodash JavaScript file, right? You just need to copy the URL, and I can just paste it over here, and this is how I can use any third-party module. And also I can also use all other third-party modules using any URL that gives you the CDN for that. jQuery, just search on Google Deno CDN for jQuery. You will get a lot of such third-party modules, right? So if I write Deno jQuery CDN, so JS deliver. So this is JS deliver is one of the CDN providers, and this is how you can add the jQuery in your Deno code, right? So my practice is just search on Google which library you want, the Deno, this CDN, right? Because Deno is all about CDNs, importing the modules and use it in your scripts, right? So this is how you can add these scripts. It's pretty straightforward. The Ryan, the developer, didn't liked actually having the package manager and maintaining the package.json file and a lot of such things. That's quite a heavy for in the developer's eye. So he built the Deno in this way, right? So this is the one thing, that how we can import the library. So let's say if we want to export something, we want to have multiple files in Deno, how we would like to export something in it. So let's say we have a library called let's say we have this third.ts file, right? And I want to export get from it, right? There is a get function in Lodash, and I want to export it from here, right? So this is the third. Let's say I want to use it in the first TypeScript file. So I can simply use this thing like import get from, this is the third, right? And I just need to use the same property name, this variable, and I don't need to add any kind of URL. So what's the benefit of it? You can export a lot of packages in one file as a common file, and you can import any of these from it in different separate files. So this is for the coding structure, the architecture of your code, and when you try to build some kind of APIs, you can make a folder structure out of it. So this is to actually this facilitate us to design our code in a maintainable way, right? So now let's explore some more libraries, and I want to show you some awesome libraries in it, right? So here, if I go to, let's go to standard library, no, third-party libraries, right? Okay, so here we have a package, something called Drash. Where was that? It's a standard library. It's a runtime API. Let's move to the runtime APIs. Okay, let's rerun it. Deno.land/x. Yeah, third party modules, right? So here you know Lodash, did JS, did find sheets for Excel manipulation data, and this is Drash, right? So Drash is an awesome package here which we can use to actually create an automated folder structure. It gives you a CLI, just like you use create React app for creating the React applications. You can use the Angular CLI for automated creation of the Angular applications, right? So let me create a folder inside 8 project, right? And in my terminal, let me clear this out, and let's go into the project. And here I would like to import the the Drash package, and create an API folder structure in my project. I don't need to manually create all the folders, right? So for actually creating it, Deno run, and I can paste the Drash create app TypeScript file from here. So Drash and create app, yeah. So just copy it, and in the terminal I'm just going to paste it, right? And in some cases I don't need to add the versioning, right? Actually, in all the cases you can remove the versioning. It's going to automatically take the latest version from the package manager, the GitHub, right? So Xtrash create React app, but before that, since I'm already accessing the TypeScript file and it's over the network, I need to pass some kind of flag as a part of giving permission to it, right? So first of all, I need to pass allow run, and I can pass allow read because I'm reading the file, and then allow write, and then allow net, obviously because I'm accessing the network. And the last thing I would need to add is I want to pass a flag to this create app.typescript file, and it requires multiple flags. I want to create a project which was found argument A, which wasn't expected or isn't valid in this context. So let me go through. This is the allow run, and then we have allow read, allow write, allow net, and then https dano land x drash create app.ts. Hit enter. Right, so let's add it again. Yeah, so Dano run, allow read, and then the http. Right, so it's what it's going is it's creating all the folder structure for us so that we can actually move forward and create an awesome APIs using the Dano, right? So if we open up the project, folder, you can see that it has created a folder structure for us. This is the server, right? And it has created this application.json file, dash. This is from dept. It is importing it, and dept is using a concept of exporting. So dash, and it is this is what I said you guys, that this file depths, you can import a lot of things over here, and you can export these so that you can use these in another files, right? And we have the test files, resources, middlewares. So you can start off writing APIs using it, right? So this package is so cool, dash. You can use it to create an API structures. But if you know that I added the dash API flag over here, right? So this flag can be changed if you want to create the node or the Deno project for the web scraping, data mining, artificial intelligence. It can have multiple flags as well. You can just check out its documentation. You can find a lot of others flags for it, right? So yeah, so let's go to the documentation, and here we can explore a lot of multiple things from it now. One package that I'm finding here, let me find a common package. Yeah, cotton, sorry. This is used to connect to the database. If you want to connect to database, you can use this cotton package, and for it to use, you can import this mod.ts file, and in this mod.ts file you can import the connect variable, this one, right? So this is going to allow you to connect to the database, and you can give the type of database inside it. Type can be SQLite, MongoDB, SQL, Postgres database, and you can give the parameter to it, right? So this is a cool library that you can use. Another cool library I would like to mention here is let's remove it, and let's move forward. So if I just search on Mongo, right? So if you don't want to use that that cotton package, you have the separate libraries, separate modules for different databases, right? Sometimes you would like to only use a specific database libraries for Mongo, and you can have a MongoDB, you can have the SQLite database, Postgres. If I search the SQL, you will find there is a separate SQL module that you can use. Postgres, if I search SQLite, you can have a separate SQLite package. And I'm just trying to figure out that if there are separate packages for the web scraping. So in Node, we used to have this package for web scraping for headless Chrome. Awesome. So Puppeteer is also available in Deno. I'm so excited about it. I'm planning to use it. So Deno Puppeteer, I've been using a lot for web scraping. So this is how I can import Puppeteer. Awesome. So I can use it for web scraping. This is how I can use it, right? So this video was just to show you guys how you can, and most of these packages, third-party modules, will be having the detailed description inside it. You can install it like this, and you can use it, a lot of description inside it, right? So that's pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to explain you guys how you can explore different libraries, and I'm hoping that in next few months or maybe an year, it's going to be containing all the required packages that Node was supporting, and it's going to be an awesome tool to actually develop APIs and a lot more things, just like you guys have been doing using Node. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe my channel, and keep learning.